We're live. Hello, everyone.
Yay!
Now I just need to hit post on like 5 websites. It's like I am like anyone that follows me on Tumblr is like, hey, he posts like once a week now. Okay. Tumblr's like fighting me. It's like, are you sure you want to leave this page? I'm like, yes, I just posted. Okay, Facebook, what are you doing? I do not want to promote the post.
Do people still use Facebook?
I don't know.
in your experience?
No, my Facebook page is so dead. It's like, I'm gonna share it on Facebook just in case, but Facebook's pretty much dead to me. Anyway, where do you want to start off for VYTALCast today?
I guess we'll start at the beginning. I don't know.
The beginning.
Whatever,
oh, okay.
Whatever you want.
That was when Watts and Lionheart
were talking. Yeah.
Dude, I accidentally called.
That was also a thing.
Dude, that was. Oh man. Also, can I don't know if you were annoyed by this, but like when I saw your thumbnail about the beginning of chapter 2, I was like, oh no, spoilers, because I hadn't seen the episode by then.
Wait, like, for the one with Salem in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The chapter 2. Like, the thumbnail was like Lionheart being choked by that.
Oh, that was a separate video, but we were doing it about Hazel, like, basically, like, not Hazel, sorry. Lionheart's, like, history with, Sienna, I guess? Or Sienna, oh my god, I'm so confused.
Salem?
Yeah, his history with Salem and stuff, and, like, a couple people were like, spoilers, and I was like, listen, he got choked out in the trailer, okay? Like, yeah. I didn't show Sienna being, like, you know, butchered or anything in all of my other thumbnails. Yeah. I was very considerate, but I was just like, y'all gotta stop being so salty.
No, I think for that one, it was the Lionheart one, and it was like, because it showed the Grim also in the thumbnail. Yeah. Whereas everyone was predicting that was like Watts with a
Watts' weapon or something, and I was just like, no guys, like it's the tentacles. Trust me, I got this. And like everyone was like, okay, Cal, whatever.
Oh, so you were predicting that, and then you're like, yes, I'm right.
Yeah, that's basically how things go. It's that I predict something, and I'm like, I love being right, Hunter.
Yeah, so I think it was like Sunday or Monday, and it was like I was right about to watch the episode, and I'm scrolling through my subs, and I saw that thumbnail, and I'm like,
and I was like, no.
I was like, oh no. But luckily that was like first 2 minutes of the episode, and I'm like, okay, I'm not as salty anymore.
Like, yeah, a couple people were like, and then I was like, okay, so that's a spoiler, but nobody's complaining about any of my Sienna videos. Okay, like, it's okay.
The Sienna Con video, the one where it shows like Ilya like sitting in front of like what looks like a portrait of Sienna.
Yeah,
Con.
that was also in the OP, and I was just like,
yeah, that was also once I noticed that in the opening, I was like, okay, I just blinked and missed that. But gosh, if you do watch my reaction videos, just know I passive aggressively, very saltily kind of call you out a bit. I'm like,
oh, okay.
I'm like,
God, like Cal spoiled me.
Yeah, no, I don't mention your name, but it's definitely about you. I was like, somebody put spoilers in a thumbnail, and then like Lionheart gets choked out. I'm like, that's the spoiler I saw. Gosh, yeah, but
people probably wouldn't even know that it was me, because like it's not like I'm Arnold or something where they'd be like Portal, you're calling out Arnold, but they'd just be like, oh, I wonder who did that.
No, but I'm like, no, this is a wonderful friend. Other than that spoiler, wonderful friend. So just so you know, if you like for some reason watch my video and you're like, is he talking about me? The answer is yes.
Oh, now I know. Now I have to watch it.
Yeah. Like I was just editing like right before I called you, and I was like, oh no. I'm like, I'm way
like,
so salty.
I just called Cal to do this like 3 hours before it started, and I talked shit about her.
I'm like, oh no, I am way so salty. Okay, hey Inspector, who reacts and hails to Taco? You can't stay longer at a school play. That's okay. I kind of procrastinated on this VYTALcast, so it's okay. You have fun. What play is it, by the way? Is it Beauty and the Beast? Because we're gonna talk about a beast later in this episode.
Oh boy, that was some smooth transition.
Woo! Where's my Yang glasses? There they are. They were
I can't see you,
Yang.
so I have like no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk about Adam and how he's a snake?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I also like I kind of like Watts like a lot for some reason.
Dude.
Like I don't know. He was just so like, oh, hey Cinder, are we coming in clearly? You know, as clearly as we can. See. And like all that stuff. And I was just like,
he was like an old
like
man
you.
with technology, except for it was like more with mythological stuff. And it was like, dude, Watts, don't you like work in technology or something? Like that's what I'm predicting. Like his name is towards like technology, and then
because he was also like, ooh, like this Grim is so fascinating, and I was like, okay, there, bud, like.
Yeah. Oh man, but this was a really great episode for Watts and Hazel. I felt like they both come as very different people than I originally thought they would have been. Like,
I agree with that too.
Because like Hazel was like, nobody had to die today, and then what was the other surprising thing? It was with Watts. Not so much like him being fascinated by the Grim, but there was something he said. I didn't get to it in my editing, so I don't remember it exactly.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it had something to do with, like maybe when he was like, oh, but I can't take the credit, it was actually...
Oh, yeah.
Crow told us,
that
like,
was
that
what
sort of
surprised
thing?
me. Yeah, that was what surprised me, was him not taking credit. Because for me, like, villains seem like the low-class enough people that they'll just take credit for anything they're given it.
These are like, they have, like, these are the honorable villains.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I was raised better than that.
Exactly.
Oh, and Vera just pointed out in the chat that Watts goes out of his way to be a jerk to Cinder, which I find...
appreciate that sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty
like,
entertaining.
Not because I don't like Cinder, it's just like, he has such good, like, they've written his jabs so well, and I'm just like, yeah.
Yes,
and he reminds me, like, he's totally a theater kid. Like, I just feel like everything he says is so theatrical, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely theater kids I have interacted
like
with.
he wasn't one of the actors in theater, he was, like, the director of the plays, like...
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it's rock step, body roll, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Vera says Tyrion's tail was a bit of a surprise.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess, like, I didn't know what they were gonna do about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, we should be kind of used to limb replacement in RWBY by now, with Yang getting her arm replaced, and then, like, seeing Ironwood is, like, half robot.
And then Mercury, too.
Oh, yeah, Mercury with the legs. Although it does give a good hint of what Watts does as his, like, cover-up of his life, is he does, like... animatronic limbs.
I wonder if he made Yang's then. That would be a very interesting connection if he's the one that's giving all this shit to Ironwood.
Yeah.
And so like he has some insider information.
Yeah, like that's actually something I was wondering. Like everyone's first thought would be like, oh, Penny's creator made it. But then if it was like Watts, because Watts could have easily heard that Adam cut off Yang's arm or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Adam.
And he obviously, like, I think at this point we all know that he hacked in to, like, the phone stuff, because his little W is on the phone, and then... Yeah,
back in Volume 3, when Cinder's, like, looking at the Penny files, and you see the little W, and it's like she's talking to it.
Based off that, though, like, she's like, oh, our clever little friend, and I could see that as two ways, like, she's kind of, like... I guess being like a little sarcastic, like you clever little sneak, like sort of thing like that. But like it's more like I don't know. It's either she's like kind of making fun of him, or they actually had a nice like quote unquote like friendship, like I guess a business friendship. And then as soon as she failed, Watts was like, "Ah, you bitch." Like, I'm trying not to swear because I know that like one of the VYTALcast got taken down on the community.
No, okay, that's back up. We're a-okay with that one. That was number 27.
Like, oh no.
VYTALcast episode 27 was a problem child, and that was because of some troll on Facebook. But it's all good.
See, it always goes back to Facebook, man. Like,
I know.
You gotta get off it.
They didn't like that I said, like, yeah, if Yang acted like Sun, I would have the same feelings towards Yang like I do towards Sun right now. And
yeah, see, I don't understand that, because that is, like, a very logical, like, yeah, it would still be weird.
But apparently I'm the bad guy, because I have feelings towards Sun that aren't as nice as they used to be. Like, I still like Sun as a person. It's just like, hey, if Sun could grow up a bit and, like, stop eavesdropping on people, that'd be nice.
That's literally me. Also, ACGearsandArms says, do you think that Cinder took Mercury to Watts to get his prosthetic legs? And I'm like, like, that's some good theory. I like that.
Yeah. Well,
that would make sense maybe why she, like, was like, oh, our clever little friend. Like, you helped Mercury, so I kind of like you right now, sort of thing. But, yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go against that. Only because in that episode where it shows her recruiting Mercury, it kind of looked like he was fresh from operation almost.
Oh, okay.
Because he had, like, bandages from what looks like where his flesh leg would meet his robot leg.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So I considered it like, oh, he's fairly fresh out of surgery, like maybe he's in a recovering phase or something. And
it's weird he killed his dad though, like during that.
Yeah, and
like, oh, I'm like falling apart, but it's okay. I'm just gonna kill my dad anyway, like out of the operation room.
I kind of took it as like, oh, let's see how these upgrades do, and like,
oh yeah,
kind of like a test of like, hey, I'm an evil jerk. I'm gonna go kill my father because maybe my father and I don't get along very well, and villains. But also, yeah. Speaking of villains, the Facebook troll, like, I wouldn't care if you swear on VYTALCast. Okay. Like, I only control my language on VYTALCast. So, okay. So Veriv said, I think he already had the metal legs when they met him. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it shows his metal legs in the episode, where she meets him. So, how did Mercury get a hold of such high-tech legs, though? He's the son of an assassin. Well, he's the son of an assassin. It could be his father got him the replacement legs.
They could have been a little well off, you know?
They could have been stolen. Like, they could have been either purchased
some sort of black market. Oh, well, they were in Mistral, right? So, like, Crow's like, you can get anything on the black market here. Like, I wonder, like, if anything also includes, like, some sketchy doctor
yeah, or like some garage of like like kind of like the equivalent of like garage tattoos, but like robot limbs,
or like people getting like Botox or something, but they don't go to the doctor. And they're just in random people's basement. Like Mercury was just like, fuck me up, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like, I can't afford the Apple brand prosthetics, just get me the hand-me-down put together from the junkyard limb. I might need a tetanus shot afterwards, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's weird. Mercury's not even in the episode, and we're spending a good time talking about him.
I know. Well, everybody was like, he's in the OP and Emerald's not. We should all be worried. And I'm just like, okay, guys, just relax. It's okay.
Wait, Emerald isn't?
No, she's not, like, fighting Yang. Like, Mercury's fighting Yang, but Emerald's not doing shit. So everybody's a little worried. And, like, somebody else mentioned before... Tyrion wasn't in the opening. I find that interesting. That was an Inspector Who Reacts a while ago. They said that, and I was just like, a lot of characters are just not
I don't mind Tyrion being out of the OP. If it hints at him having little screen time, I'm okay with that. Actually, that reminds me of a comment about Adam I saw on Chapter 2. Some people were saying they think Adam was a very one-dimensional villain, and they're like, I don't know why people see Adam as so interesting. I find Tyrion way more interesting, but I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm like, Tyrion seems more one-dimensional than Adam, because Adam at least has that connection to Blake, and there's been hinted that he used to not be this way back when Blake first met him.
Yeah. And so, like, it's even kind of weird just because, like, you know, Adam has, like, 2 songs. We saw him in the Black trailer. He was the first male character that was ever made. But, like, nah, guys, like, Tyrion has way more development than Adam, and I'm just here like, okay. Are you sure?
He went from a psycho laughing at Cinder saying an eye for an eye to a psycho laughing as he's slashing a Grim to pieces. Like, great development, everybody. Uh, he's like, look, at the beginning of the series, we didn't know he had a tail. Now he has a tail, and oh, it's cut off.
Yeah.
Like, uh, okay, so AC Gears and Arms is saying, I would agree with you guys, except for the fact that of the quality of legs. Oh, okay. So he's talking about Mercury still.
Yeah.
The only way I see Mercury getting those legs is either he got it off Atlas military shipment or from Watts.
Maybe that was how Cinder recruited him, like, hey, I'll give you some, like, bomb legs, and, like, then you can kill your dad and come with us.
Yeah, she was originally going to recruit his father, so it could have been Watts that said, hey, we should recruit his father, because he had a connection to the father. So I could agree with that.
Who knows? I think Mercury's also, like, pretty interesting, and Emerald, like, basically most of the villains, but, like, I don't know why everybody hates on Adam so much. Like, I know, like, from a personal, like, place, I understand, because I'm like, yeah, I hate him too, but, like, from a writing spot, I'm like, he's not that bad.
Dude, yeah, no, like, he is a fantastic villain, because, like, he gets people emotionally invested in hating him, and therefore I'd say, yeah, he's a great villain for that, and he's not entirely as one-dimensional as most people would say. Because
in this episode, he's giving me some Joffrey vibes, man. Like, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But how he was sitting on the chair, I was like, they just ripped that from Game of Thrones. Like, I looked at it side by side. They're literally sitting the exact same
He's like, don't worry, I'll save Ned Stark off with his head.
No.
Like, yeah, I totally agree with that. He's like, oh, it's Yana Khan. Yeah, we'll totally work with you. Stab. Not even
it's that same, like, leg thing, too. Like, it's just how he's, like, man-spreading on the throne. It's exactly like Joffrey, and that's all I could think about.
Man-spreading. He is, like, the ruby symbolism of man-spreading, though. Like, how he harasses Blake in Volume 3 on, like, calling her my love, and how he just taunts her like that, and it's just like, oh. Like, you just get this gross vibe off of him. And I think a lot of Kruby says he grosses them out, too. Which is a good testament to how good he is at being a trash can.
When you're even, like, grossed out by your own characters, like, you did a good job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, like... I mean, that's another way he relates to Joffrey. Like, the actor who played Joffrey was so grossed out by Joffrey, he quit acting after he ended Game of Thrones. So it was like...
He's such a nice guy, too.
I know.
And, like, when you see that contrast, like, I would also take a break, to be honest.
Oh, man. Like, Adam is awesome. And a lot of people are telling me to cosplay as Adam. And part of me is like, I love his character design. But also, it's like... I don't know how I'd feel about myself portraying Adam. Because, like...
I feel like also at conventions, you kind of have to think about, like, who's gonna get in beef with you, because I see they're cosplaying as certain characters, and they get, like, I don't want to say yelled at, but they get called out, maybe, and, like, maybe you don't want that attention.
Yeah, like... like, people are like, ugh, how could you dress up as Adam? You know how he is like a person, right? It's like... Yeah, but he looks cool, and yeah. No,
like, I dressed up as Neo, and then somebody was like, great cosplay, and I was like, thanks, and they were like, no, it'd be better if you don't speak, you'll ruin it, and I was just like,
what?
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's people that get into character in their cosplay, and then there's people that just want to dress up for the heck of dressing up, you know? And I'm not sure where I fit in that. I was trying to be polite, I don't know. Yeah. Like, can you imagine, like, trying to be mute while you're, like, trying to buy something at a convention stand? They're like, man, look at this jerk. Like, they're not even talking. They're just pointing out what they want and handing me money. Okay, at least people are agreeing in the chat that Adam has really awesome character design.
That's good.
But... still, like, I totally could see myself being called out by someone if I dressed up as Adam.
I'm glad that's why he has new clothes now. Like, as soon as he got new clothes, I was like, oh man, like, he's gonna become, like, more important, you know? They wouldn't spend time making him more clothes if he didn't.
Yeah.
And, like, not that his old ones were bad, but he looks like militia.
He looks
a little
less
bit now. Like, he looks like he's leading a coup.
Yeah. Seriously, it's like, new phase, like... It's like, oh, Adam can't. The old Adam can't come to the phone right now. Why?
Oh no.
He's dead.
I feel like Totally really likes Taylor Swift, and I feel like that she kind of infected her Discord server. Now you saying that, I'm like, man, it reached the Ruby YouTubers too. Like, what's going on? I'm trapped. I also bought the new Taylor Swift album on pre-order, so like,
I haven't
Tally's just like getting all of us.
I haven't bought the album yet, and it's weird because at work today, I was actually thinking of making a video discussing just Taylor Swift and like all of the stuff, but because I'm not like a hardcore Taylor Swift fan, I'm like every now and then there's a song from her I really like, but I've never actually bought a song of hers. So if you like look through my iTunes library, you will not see Taylor Swift. But I kind of wanted to make a how to understand Taylor Swift from outside the Taylor Swift fandom point of view, and I don't know, part of it was feeling like in my head content cop vibey from like iDubbbz, because he was trending because he called out Rice Gum, and it was like, man, this has a weird vibe to it, but like in a way it's like her brand is kind of genius because it's like she has her own kind of lore, so to say, except for all the lore is like real events, and like for you to understand her music you have to look up all this stuff, and then by the time you've looked up all that stuff you're invested.
I love that. Like, even with, like, Ed Sheeran, I started getting into his songs, and I was like, I don't know what some of these lyrics mean. And then I started looking in, and it's like, oh, like, a lot of people think it's this girl who was dating Ed Sheeran and then had an affair with Harry Styles. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, what rabbit hole have I gotten into? That's kind of like Ruby. Like, you look at all of these theories, and then you get lost. And, especially with the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack, like, up until Volume 3, people, myself included, took the soundtrack as extended lore of the show. Like, people were theorizing about Sacrifice and like Die and like all the different songs, like, oh my gosh, the songs are extended lore, till like shortly after Volume 3 came out, Jeff Williams had to come out and say, no, they're not extended lore, we're just having fun with the series and making songs. And it's like,
I think like to an extent you could take, I wouldn't say they're extended lore, but they reflect things on the show and can give you a bit more further insight, but I don't think they're taken like entirely as fact, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of what he was trying to get at, was like, hey, you know, we're just kind of doing it for fun, don't take them too seriously, but at the same time, like, there is some metaphor shit in there, because there is a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird sort of contradiction when you say, hey, my stuff isn't part of the lore, except I'm gonna pack, like, everything that Ruby has ever said into one song, and we're just like, okay.
And then don't get me started on the Volume 4 soundtrack, how they included two contradicting ship songs. It was like, oh no.
But what I found interesting about kind of that, though, is that, like, with Morning Follows Night, it's just kind of Sun, and he's been like, oh, Blake, I love you, where, like, as Blake doesn't really say anything back to that.
Yeah.
Like, he's you will see the love that is me, and then Blake's just like, okay.
Yeah, Blake's kind of like, I don't want to endanger anyone, which anyone could kind of take that as like, oh, she doesn't want to endanger Sun because she loves him, or it could be she doesn't want to endanger Sun because he's a friend, and she's just kind of trying to give everyone the same treatment.
Anyone, because nobody should die.
Yeah, but
sometimes it's not that deep.
it is. It was like.
Also, somebody in the chat mentioned that, like, apparently all of my, like, stuff on the sidebar is Sunny. Like, I guess from the last VYTALcast.
Oh, yeah, co-host info. I knew I was forgetting something. I am sorry.
It's okay.
Let's fix that. Let's
But I was just like, oh man, like, I don't know who I am anymore.
Identity crisis. Okay, I am fixing it. Okay, wait, hold on. Live fix is incoming.
I think Hunt's SD that, like, Bumblebee's kind of a bit too specific to put to any ship. Like, you could try, but there's also kind of a lot of, like, references to the ship, and so, like, you could do your best.
The name of the song is the name of the ship. Like,
I'm Calxiyn on, like, everything, so you can just
that's what I did. I was like, there you go. Just, I didn't put it down for RT Sire Ruby Amino, so everyone just assume it's the same on those, because she said it. So
yeah, it's all Calxiyn,
dude,
like all day, every day.
Ruby Amino is like dead to me almost. Actually, maybe that's why my views are down. I need to start sharing on Ruby Amino again.
I do that a lot, but they never share my videos, and I'm like sad.
Dude,
But usually if I put like, I guess that they focus more, they're not very video friendly. Like it's more like if I write a script for my video and then I put the script in it and the video's kind of on top of that, then they may feature it. But like I find that like they're kind of not about like just videos, and
yeah,
me and Hunter don't usually script out anything, and so we're just like,
yeah, I think reaction video wise, like I got featured there like once, and I was in the bottom part of top 10. But then VYTALCast would often be in like the top 2. It's been in the top 2 multiple times, so maybe that's what I need to do to start getting VYTALCast ratings back up. Or heck, even my reaction video ratings, like chapter 1 reaction has like 106 views right now, which I'm like, dang! I expected that from like a red versus blue reaction video of mine, but not a Ruby one. Holy cow! But I just need to get back into the sharing on every site ever.
I know it takes so much work, but then when you realize like how much it helps, you're just like, oh, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
also,
like...
Varif said, 2 extremes, all our days was said to be completely personal and separate from the show, but like Morning Follows Night has lines that are word for word in the show. They can go either way. Yeah, that's exactly what's confusing about it for me anyway. It's like they have things that are exactly from the show, and they're like, but like it's not about the show, don't worry. And I'm just like, yeah okay.
It's like,
whatever.
Pick a lane. I think it's stay there.
It's probably just about like not trying to start fights. Like, guys, don't take things too seriously, which I understand, but at the same time, I'm like,
like I used to think up until the Volume 4 soundtrack, I used to think every song was okayed by Miles and Carrie first. But then once they came out with Bumblebee and like Morning Follows Night, I was like, uh-oh. That was definitely not like
that. Like Aaron was saying, like, oh no, like it was like Miles and Carrie didn't check it, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but I would check everything that I'm putting out. But like that's just me.
Yeah, like.
But I'm surprised. I think that's kind of bullshit. Like that's a bit like smelly for me. You know what I mean?
Like if I were in Rooster Teeth and I was one of the people in charge of Ruby or Red versus Blue or anything, I would want to make sure everyone is on the same page about everything. And like if the Ruby soundtrack is coming out, it's like, okay, we want to double check all the songs and okay them. Like,
and it also like contradicts other things that they've said, because like they've talked extensively about their music process before and how they basically like give stuff to Jeff, and then Jeff and them like kind of correspond back, and they have this weird like Excel spreadsheet of like timestamps in the animation and then the lyrics of the song, and I'm just like, y'all went into so much detail with that, but you couldn't like listen to the one song that wasn't in the show, and I'm just like, okay.
Well,
like...
like Bumblebee wasn't in the show, but I think like Morning Follows Night was in the show. So...
Yeah, it was there for like the Sea Dragon situation.
And Varif says, I don't see those songs as contradictory. I agree with you to a point, but where this fandom is known for having ship wars like none other, I would have tried to avoid that as much as possible.
I agree with that. Like they're only contradictory like if people are too invested, I suppose, or then I guess people just kind of take them at face value, like this is about Blake and Yang, this is about Sun and Blake, but like really they're kind of only talking about their own feelings mostly, like Sun, and then if we assume that it's Yang singing in Bumblebee, even though there's this weird cutoff point, and I was like, if this was like a musical, somebody else would be singing that line. That doesn't make sense, but like I just didn't look into it.
That's Bumblebee Part 2. Enter Blake. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird with how the soundtrack's gone off and on, because like I said, up until Volume 3, I even took the soundtrack as extended lore on like character dynamics, especially because Shine, Dream Come True, and Boop were all about 2 canons that definitely seemed like they were, if not already canon, were about to be canon. And and then like I don't know. Once they came out after Volume 3 and said, like, no, they're not lore or anything. They're just for fun. I felt like... Oh, wait, no, it wasn't after Volume 3. It was, like, right after the Volume 4 soundtrack came out.
Yeah.
Too.
I feel like that's, like, a little bit of a backtrack, so I would still take them as,
yeah.
like, at least a little less than lore, but still basically, like, I think that they mostly said that because of the Bumblebee thing. Like, I think they're just trying to
backtrack. They're like, no. These songs are just for fun and enjoyment, which I agree, yes, but a lot of people used to look at them as, like, a deeper or different look into character dynamics and stuff like that. Because, like, Sacrifice was definitely Salem with Ozpin, and I think Die was, like, one of the only songs that had, like, no specific character in mind. It just had action and stuff.
For Die, it also played while Yang was killing the robot, so it could also be her thing. Or the Torchwick robot, I should say.
Yeah, Torchwick.
That's what I was disappointed about with, like, the scene with Adam and killing Sienna, is that there was no music whatsoever. Like, it was just silence, like, nothing was happening, and I was like, y'all couldn't do, like, a violin, like, funeral piano version of From Shadows and, like, Reigns of Castamere and just, like, stick it in there? Like, it was just, it was so, like, weird.
Or even at least when he stabbed her, have, like, a dun, like a big epic, like something big has happened here. But
there's just no music, and I was just like,
some sort of menacing music playing in the background as Adam is like, yeah, I'm in charge now.
The no music is a cliche, Cal. The no music, like, when the music stops. When the music stops, always is gonna... Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's usually... no music is usually so people focus more on, like, what's being said and what's going on. Because sometimes music could be a giveaway, but it's also used as an enhancement. So if there was, like, music leading up to her being stabbed, I would say that's the giveaway. But if the music
like, even after, while he was, like, sitting on the throne and being like, hey, like, you know?
Yeah, I say if, like, the music started right at the stabbing part, and then kind of continued afterwards, that I would agree with, but before leading up, I'd say that'd be a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I just mean, like, at all, I was just like, this scene is silent. There is nothing happening.
Yeah, that's usually when there's, like, heavy plot scenes, because there's, in Chapter 1, when Lionheart was talking with Crow and Ranger, I believe there was no music during that scene as well. So, it was definitely a deliberate choice, as Varif said.
I just wish, like, after, while he was sitting on the throne, there was some, like, piano nonsense.
Yeah, well,
Blake always has this, like, piano scale, like, whenever she fights and stuff like that, that they kind of, like, intentionally made. I think they have, like, 4 different instrument things that they use for all the girls, but that's the one for Blake, and so if they did, like, a contrast of that, like, for Adam when he's, like, finally taking power, I would have been like,
well, I think Adam would get something more in tune with, like, Darth Vader, as Inspector Who says, which is funny, because I was thinking that in my head, and then he commented that, and now I'm saying it after he's commented that, so now it's looking like I can't have an original thought of my own, but I did. We're just on the same wavelength. So, yeah, Adam, such a trash can. Like,
I know.
But it kind of makes me think of... I kind of wish I saw... Or maybe they'll have, like, a throwback episode where it'll reference more of Adam gaining support within the White Fang.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do a flashback, to be honest. Like, I personally can't see them spending all that time making such, like, highly decorated model, I guess, and then just being like, nah, man, we're gonna kill her. Unless they're like, hey, guys, look at all this budget. We're not afraid to, like, put it into one person and then waste it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Sienna Khan, like, I have to say, it was like, she was gonna be such a big part of, like, everyone's like, oh, it's building up to Sienna Khan, she's gonna be a huge reveal, and they even had well-known professional voice actors for her too.
Yeah, Monica Rial, which Hunter is like super like has a kind of a hard on for, and so like as soon as he figured out that was her, he was so upset, and I was like, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry.
It's like, imagine hiring a big voice actress and then just using them for one scene. I'm like, there's been times they've used like the fellow crewbie members or someone else at Rooster Teeth to just voice a smaller part. And so after she got killed off, I'm like, okay, they're gonna have episodes in the future with her in it, I think. If it's
on Ruby Rewind, they said they designed her before they read the script.
Oh man!
Did they really? I haven't caught up with Ruby Rewind. I think I have to, but like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a flashback. But like, I was so surprised, and like, I feel like the animators that worked on her would have. I mean, they got paid anyway, I'm sure, but I would have been a little cheesed personally.
Although I'm gonna say that's kind of genius as well to just kind of have even the animation team not knowing before.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like, not that the animation team would be snitches, but like, you know, like when you have a big group of people, it's kind of hard to make sure everybody stays secret.
Yeah, the animation team's been growing as well, so it's
I know. Like, somebody on the team is in Arnold's server, and he's, like, so good at keeping secrets, and I would be, like, a total blabbermouth. Like, I would tell them everything. It's, so, like,
I think they've been in Aaron's Discord and Twitch streams as well.
Yeah. And, like, Brian, like, keeps stuff so, like, tight-lipped, and he's just, like,
Brian's
so, like, snarky about it, too. Yeah, exactly. Like, he teases us all the time.
Dude, he would tease me so much about, like, Cinder's semblance and some other stuff. He's like, hey, you'll see about that.
Exactly. And so, like, I would be a total blabbermouth and just tell people everything.
Yeah.
I'm like a horrible secret keeper. I can't do it.
Okay, so AC Gears and Arms is saying, should they hire Jennifer Hale for World of Ruby?
I have no idea who that is, but if you tell me a character, I think that I would know.
Okay, luckily I typed in Jen, and then, like, it just finished. Okay, Jennifer Hale, this is from JenniferHale.com. She has her own website. Jennifer Hale is a Canadian-American voice actress, best known for her work in video game franchises, including Baldur's Gate, Mass Effect, Metroid Prime. Oh, does she play Samus? I think she's the lady that plays Samus Aran from Metroid Prime.
That means, like, nothing to me, because I don't have...
she was in Spider-Man, Bioshock Infinite. Oh, was she the lady that played Elizabeth in that?
I like Spider-Man. I could go for that.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, they should totally hire her. Just not for one scene or episode. That'll be another potential waste of talent.
That's the other thing I'm wondering, though. I wonder if they got Monica Rial to play, like, a character that was gonna die because, like, she may be a little expensive. Like, I know they're putting a lot of money into Vic, and that's why a lot of people thought that Vic wasn't really in, like, Ruby Chibi that much, because, like, they kind of need to save him for the actual show. Yeah. Because he's probably also very high-priced, and I'm just like, dude, okay, guys. So I'm wondering if that's why they did that. But also then Ilya's Lucy from Fairy Tail, and she's probably also another, like, very high-paid voice actress.
Who's Lucy from Fairy Tail?
Ilya.
Oh, yeah, she plays Makoto in Persona 5 as well. Mm-hmm. And then they have Elizabeth Maxwell, who plays Winter, who's been in a few video games this year as well. Mm-hmm. It's just weird that, like, them two specifically have been in, like, multiple video games I purchased this year, and then also Ruby, and it's just like everything is connecting together.
I know. I'm like waiting for like some of the Kingdom Hearts actors to get involved in Ruby, and that's when I'll be happy, but like it's gonna be a long time.
Although I think with Ruby being such a success in like selling merch and then like having so many viewers, and especially because it's becoming big in Japan as well, they're now having the budget in Ruby to like hire these big name voice actors. And she is Samus Aran in Prime. Thank you, AC Gears and Arms. Okay, so it's really great, but then also at the same time, as the show gets bigger and bigger, I'm always scared of like it becoming kind of prideful in itself, and therefore the quality drops, like Supernatural. Like, show that
That's a good example.
could have ended at season 5, but because it could, it did, and then like the quality just. But that was because a lot of the good actors.
Like,
I mean, writers left.
I think that what they're gonna do is, like, if they really need to milk it more, they're gonna finish like the main plot with Salem, and then they're gonna do like Ruby. Like,
Boruto.
I thought a lot of people thought like Ruby Rewind was Crow, Summer, Ty, and Raven when they were in school. I'm pretty sure if they like wanna, that's kind of what they may decide that they want to do with their like existence after that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, okay, so James plays games. You could go ahead and ask a question. That's what the chat's for. We love reading from the chat. And then, yeah, I could imagine at least every now and then Ruby takes a sort of hiatus, but we still get a season. I could imagine us having a mini season of like Team Stark or like a character's background or something.
Yeah, I just like I feel like that's what they're gonna do, to be honest. Like, because I can't see them just being like, oh, you know, the Salem plot's done. Bye, everyone. Like, they're not gonna do that, especially when it's making so much money.
I could definitely imagine like if they need more time to develop some like a further season in the Salem arc, that they could do like a quick Stark throwback season or something, kind of like how Naruto did the Kakashi Chronicles in between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Sorry, do you know Naruto at all?
No, but I know what you're talking about. Like, I don't watch the show, but like I know what you mean, like in terms of how they've been.
It was like I could easily explain it. Like, Naruto was when he was younger. That's when the series first starts. Kakashi Chronicles was like a throwback to when his teacher was like his age in a war, and it was like a mini season. And then they moved on to Naruto Shippuden, which was continuing back on the main plot and when he's older.
Where does Naruto's son come in? Like, now you lost me, because I'm like, wait, doesn't he have a kid now? Isn't that like one of the other series
that's Boruto.
That's going on?
That's the milking of the series right there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because I have the throwback with like Stark, but then I also have like Ruby like Generations.
Yeah. Ruby Generations, like, all right. I mean, it'd be interesting, like, to see if, like, what ships come to be, and then, like,
and then whose kids,
like, their kids are, like, exist, a mix of the color, like, the easiest I could think of is, like, if Ruby and Weiss were to, like, adopt a child or have a child through whatever means, and the child's, like, pink or something, you know? And it's, like, a mix between their two colors and the
pink,
names.
and now I see.
Yeah, like, that's something. Okay. So James plays games. His question is, what would you like, personally like to happen in this series?
I have some things.
There is so many things. Okay, do you want to go first?
Sure. Like, specifically regarding this episode, I would love it if, because, like, I don't understand how Sienna died by that. Like, I'm not gonna pretend I know too much about stab wounds, but, like, I have my CPR training. That shouldn't have killed her that fast. There should have been a little more blood. And, like, I know she fell down the stairs, but, like, she could be, like, I've fallen down the stairs and I'm still here. So, like, it's okay. But, like, I would love it if they just, like, if she was, you know, paralyzed or something, like Hazel got her out, like she was sort of in recovery or something, and she comes back like sort of like Yang, and she's kind of this badass like tiger lady in a wheelchair.
Yeah, she's
just like, Adam, you fucked with my shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know,
but like I'm pretty sure she's dead, but I would love like if she was wheelchair bound and she was just kind of like also after Adam, but I think she's dead.
Yeah, that was actually one of my first guesses of what could have been, but then like Adam was like so sure in himself that he didn't make sure the job was actually done.
Yeah, he didn't even check, and I was just like,
he's like, take her away. I'm sure she's dead. like
give her a burial, and I'm like, okay, but is she dead though?
Yeah, like I could easily imagine someone like Hazel like finding out she's still like hanging on to life just barely, and then hiding her away.
Exactly.
Because I could easily see Adam putting a wrench in Salem's plans just because he's Adam and he's doing stuff more for himself rather than for doing it for Salem. And it could be Sienna Khan, now that she could screw over Adam, she'll side more with Salem in order to take back the White Fang. And
because I think even with that, like, a lot of people think that Adam is definitely gonna die because, like, Salem was like to Cinder, and she was like, never underestimate the usefulness of others. And then Adam was like, oh, well, fuck that. Like, I don't care. And so I feel like they're gonna have a very stark contrast of Adam just does not want to work with anyone, and Salem is not gonna appreciate that, like, whatsoever. And so I think that with that contrast, that's kind of what they're gonna do.
Also, wasn't she stabbed in the same place Blake was stabbed in?
Yeah, and that's why I was like, okay, listen, like, Blake was able to carry like a young woman like back to the airships or whatever, but Sienna falls down some stairs and she's like dead. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. So what I would like to see in the series happen is I have this theory called the Call of the Maiden. Have you heard it yet, Cal?
I don't think so.
Okay, but you do.
Or maybe I had and I just don't remember. So
I've been so lazy to make a solo video on it that maybe now that you hear it, you do the work for me. That's usually like that's easier for me. I'm just like, hey, if you become a Patreon, you can tell me what to do. And some people are like, but Cal, like, isn't that like less work for you? And I'm like, listen, okay, don't think about it. It's fine. So I've always had this theory, and I had the Yang Phoenix theory, but that's pretty much shot down now. But I have this theory mainly about Cinder and Pyrrha, so to say, and in chapter 2, it's actually sort of referenced a bit, or like not referenced, but I could use a certain line from chapter 2 to kind of reinforce it a little bit more now. Is that the Call of the Maiden, or like is so much like the aura of a maiden that transfers from maiden to maiden. I kind of want to compare it to like Avatar: The Last Airbender, on how like Aang could like communicate with the previous avatar, and like that's kind of used as guidance. But so since like Pyrrha had like the last little bit of the maiden's aura before Salem took it all and killed her, I'm guessing the Call of the Maiden is going to take the form of Pyrrha, and it's kind of inside her head convincing her like, hey, you're now the Fall Maiden, you should be protecting the world and like protecting the what were they called? Artifacts? They weren't called artifacts.
Relics.
Relics. Thank you. I mean, those two words pretty much mean the same thing, and I mix them up. But it should be like you be siding against Salem. You should be siding with humanity and the Faunuses and have them fight for their freedom and, you know, be for creation.
Just like, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep, or like, whatever is going on.
Yeah, and like Salem keeps telling Cinder like, you have to fight it, like you have to fight something within you, and like she referenced it kind of again in chapter 2. She said you have to protect it, and like you have to protect your power, which I could imagine is like the power is like fighting against Cinder's will, so to say, because it's kind of being forced to do something that it wasn't created to do. So my theory is kind of that. Like I think my theory was like how Pyrrha can still come back but still be dead theory.
Yeah.
So that's just because I really like that one. Yeah.
Like, it's just like, my thing is that I also think that part is also referring to that she used the Grim bug to get all that stuff out of her, and so I feel like that's why the Silver Eyes may have been like, hey, no, you can't do that, you're part Grim, whatever, and like totally like incinerated part of her. And I think it was like on the same, like the hand that is now gone was the same one that the Grim glove or whatever was on, and so that would make like sense, at least to me. And like, because she got half of the maiden powers, it's that half of her body that's all kinds of messed up, and so that's kind of what I think is going on with her personally. Like, that's why the Silver Eyes kind of affected her, because it's like, hey, like, you're part Grim, like, it just can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I think so many things.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Like, the Silver Eyes just needs to be explained, because it's like, is it just a weapon that could affect Grim alone, or could it just affect anyone?
Because
like
then that would be where we're like, hey, then why did it affect Cinder? And that's kind of where we kind of see that. Yeah,
and it's like part of me wondered, not so much the Grim part, because that honestly didn't even cross my mind, other than her using a Grim to steal it. I thought it was more of it attacked the maiden powers within her, kind of like I could imagine the Silver-Eyed Warriors kind of being like the guardians to the maidens, so to say, kind of like how there's like a secret society of Silver-Eyed Warriors, or like a clan of Silver-Eyed Warriors or something, and they're like all feared warriors, and I can imagine them being used in collaboration with the maidens.
I think like Ozpin just kind of all kinds of messed up. Like I did a theory on this, I think last week, where I was saying that I think that kind of what happened is that all of the maidens, you know, were kind of holding on to the relics because the schools were made to hold the vaults, so the relics would always be surrounded by the huntsman or whatever, like something to that effect. And so I'm like, okay, then what were you doing with the relics before that? So I think the maidens were just kind of hanging on to them, and then eventually, like, Atlas, like, invaded Vacuo and was like, like, this is some cool stuff, man, I'm just gonna take it. And that's kind of how the war started. And so I think Ozpin just kind of messed up with everything, and so he was kind of building all of these, like, I'll build the vault so, like, the maidens can't get in that easily anymore, so the relics will be safe. But I didn't think about the maidens going evil, and, like, just all of these things are kind of going wrong. Like, he didn't plan that well enough.
Like, I could imagine it being part of the maidens' duties in, like, protecting the world and keeping it safe, because they were all kind of representative of the relics, too, with how there's, like, a certain maiden for a certain relic, and so forth. But I totally agree with Ozpin, like, screwing up. But also, speaking of Ozpin, he's, like, the other sort of proof for my, call the maiden theory, so to say.
Because now he's having the same
Oscar, and, like, he's trying to teach Oscar what to do, and, like, okay, you now have my role. Here's what you need to do.
And that would be a nice contrast between Oscar, Cinder, and then Pyrrha or Amber and Ozpin. Like, that would be some cool foils, but, like, I don't know.
Well,
like, it's so confusing, and not even confusing now, but, like, I do one theory video a week, and so I've, like, almost been doing Ruby videos for a year now. There are at least, like, 52 theories that I've covered, and I'm so lost. Like, I just, like, it's all in my head, and it's all at the same time, and it's a bit, like, overwhelming sometimes, because I'm like, oh, I think I did a theory about that. Sometimes people comment on old videos, and I'm like, did I really? Was that me? But it's like, it's just, it's pretty nuts. And at this point, like, I'm not that I'm confused with what's going on, but, like, anything can happen at this point, and that stresses me out a little bit. Like, knowing that, like, it can go in any direction, whether it's, like, Cinder has some Grim in her now, Cinder doesn't have some Grim, it's Pyrrha, or, like, Cinder has a third thing going on that we don't understand yet, and, like,
we just them don't not know explaining what Cinder stuff is. Just kidding. But yeah, like, Volume 4 was, like, the theory slayer, almost, because everyone had a whole bunch of theories, and it was just, like, taking names and cutting
That's
theories
why I'm glad
down.
I started at Volume 4. Everything I made would have been destroyed by then.
Because I remember it was, like, 3 episodes in a row that, like, all the Ruby theorists on YouTube and Twitter were just like, well, screw that.
They just, like, cried.
Yeah.
Cried a lot.
Oh, man. Okay.
But somebody, what I love, though, was somebody that predicted Crow's semblance in Volume 3, and, like, nobody believed them, and then, like, somebody came back to that post, and it got really popular after everybody found out about it, and it was just crazy, like, watching somebody, like, come back to something, like, a year later and be like, oh, man, like, this crazy guy, he was right.
yeah, that's what I'm really hoping with Cinder and my Pyrrha theory. It's like, please, like, honestly, it's just my desperate grab at, like, having more Pyrrha and Ruby. But it's also, like, the show is kind of backing me up almost. I'm like, guys, please don't dangle hope in front of my face like this.
It's confirmation bias.
like, guys, please don't. Also,
I like who said, Red Alert, Bird Mom has the Ice Queen.
Yeah, I was actually gonna segue to that. Because, like, I used to have so many Weiss rants during Volume 4, like, not, like, rants in, like, oh, I hate Weiss, I actually adore her, it's more like, Weiss is so important rants. And the Chapter 2, the fight that she had, I felt was very symbolic of her keeping her freedom, because it was like, if she gets shot down by those, Grim...
The Lancers.
Yeah, Lancers, I was about to call them Beedrill, because I made so many B-drill jokes during my reaction video. Um, like seriously, once the Lancers showed up, it was like just Pokemon in my head. I was like, throw Pokeball, it's weak. But she was fighting for her freedom, and it's like, yeah, you fight for that freedom, and then she just gets recaptured.
I know.
It's like she is gonna be going through a lot of the crap, which now it's gonna be like, okay, her house was like training grounds for fighting for her freedom. Now it's a life or death situation of her fighting for her freedom.
And suddenly when that happened, like, my life flashed before my eyes, like, everything made sense. And I know that sounds weird, but, like, in terms of plot, like, it had to kind of... Weiss had to get there somehow because Yang is going there, Ruby's going there, and if, like, the team is gonna partially reunite, like Ruby was saying during that Q&A. I don't know if you saw the Tumblr one, but they posted this little gif of Rihanna, like, giving a winky face or whatever. Like, will the team reunite this season? And they're like, no, maybe partially, I don't know. Like, or whatever. They said something like that. And
the
now,
Volume
like...
4 finale, like, hinted at it, but now it's just changing how everyone thought they were gonna meet.
I know.
It was like, oh, they're all gonna meet at Haven. Just kidding, they're gonna meet where Raven is.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, like, when Winter says, I'm not always going to be there to protect you, Weiss, everybody thought that was, like, death flags for Winter, and I still think they kind of are, but now, like, looking at that in hindsight, you're kind of like, oh, that's what that meant. Yeah, and, like, it's just, it's all crazy. I don't know.
It is. It's just like, man.
When you see how everything connects, it's, like, it's kind of nuts.
It's really genius, and I'm really glad that the show is able to do anime length episodes now.
Yeah.
Where they're mostly 20 minutes long. Because it's like, thank you. We have so much plot stuff, but we had so little time to, like, dwell in them. And so now...
What if Yang meets Raven and leaves not knowing Weiss was there? I was thinking about that. That would kill me. That would kill all of us.
That did cross my mind. Like them talking and they're in front of a cage or a tent, and... like, Weiss is in there with her mouth gagged or something, so Weiss could hear Yang just outside.
That's, like, the pinnacle of irony, and I do not appreciate that.
It'll be like Arya arriving at Rob's wedding right when he's being murdered.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
oh, boy.
Hunt's SD is like, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I'm pretty much predicting that's what happens, but I could see Yang staying around the camp for a while and it taking a long time till she discovers Weiss. And if anything, it could be until Ruby arrives there that they find out Weiss is also there.
Like, I kind of want, like, Yang and Raven to have... I don't know if you've watched Treasure Planet, but, like...
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so, like, the bonding time between, I think, like, Silver and then, like, Jim and stuff, and then he finds out Silver is evil, and then he's just like, wait, what? Like, sort of like that, and so, like, she spends all this time with Raven, and she thinks, like, they're kind of getting along, like, for a hot minute, and then they're like, oh, wait. Like, then she finds Weiss and she's like, you knew the whole time. Like, I feel like they had to do it in a different way because it may be a little cliche depending on how they go about that, but at the same time I'm like, that would be some good shit.
Let's admit it, Ruby has like, especially in the first 2 volumes, was like just made of cliches, but it was like, but Monty, I believe, said cliches could be good if you make them good.
Yeah, because that's, like, the pretty much the difference between, I think, cliches and tropes is, like, you kind of gotta... all tropes can be good or bad, or I should say, all tropes can be a cliche, but not all cliches are necessarily...
a trope.
A trope.
Yeah. Yeah, so I could definitely see that happening, and I could also see it, like...
Oh boy.
Copyright strike. Just kidding. Oh.
Yes.
It's like, not again!
No!
I just got my streaming rights back!
The video! Yeah. You ruined my reaction, now you're ruining my
Yeah, I could totally see, like, once Yang finds out that Raven's holding Weiss, she's like, honestly, I can't be surprised. Like, I'm just surprised you have Weiss, but I can't be surprised you kept her secret from me.
Shocked, but not surprised.
Yeah. Like, oh gosh, there's such a mess. And then there's something I could relate with Weiss lately. So, like, more Volume 3 Weiss, more than, like, Volume 5 Weiss, because no one's recapturing me in some angry tribe of, like, thieves. But Weiss in Chapter 1 of Volume 3 had her card declined because her father's, like, denying her allowance. That's been me this week. Like,
why?
My card got blocked. Apparently, I had some fraudulent charges on Monday from someone. Like, luckily, the charges didn't go through, and it was, like, 5 charges of $1 bills. So it's like, okay, thanks. But they didn't call me saying, like, I had fraud on my card and to check.
I thought you were gonna be like, oh, my dad also cut off my credit card because I wouldn't talk to him. Or something like that.
Dang, that's, like, the worst kind of haunting I could think of. It's like, gosh, he's taking away my allowance from the afterlife. Man. Sorry. But, like, so, like, I tried to order sushi for delivery because I found out there's a new sushi place in my town and they deliver up until midnight. So I ordered sushi just for the heck of ordering sushi. And my card was being declined. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just the website. And then today I went to my therapist's and my card was getting declined there too. So I was like, gosh, dang it, I have to go to the bank. I hate going to the bank. So I got a new card now, but that's how I related to Volume 3 Weiss. Was having my card declined at the most inconvenient of times. So.
I feel like I feel like there's an easy segue to get, like, back to this volume, though, because, like, thinking about it now, like, I don't think Weiss's father is gonna, like, give a shit. Like, part of me does not think he's gonna care at all. You have my traitor daughter? Why don't you kill her? Because I wanted to keep her locked in the house anyway. This is even better. Because he was just gonna tell everyone she went crazy or something after seeing
but now it's,
what
like,
happened.
in
so
his
if she's
favor.
dead by bandits, like, that would, like, help him.
Yeah, instead of saying she's locked away, he could say she got kidnapped.
Exactly. Or, like, she's kidnapped and she's dead and, like, all of that sort of stuff. I don't know. Like, it's just it's one of those
Weiss
things. I don't
is
know.
just, like, out of the frying pan and into the fire. It's just like, poor Weiss.
I could definitely see her father doing that, though. Like, that's one less problem for me. If somebody kills her, that means I can go to Ironwood and yell at Ironwood and we can wage war. Like, that's kind of where I see him
honestly,
go with
like, I could see Raven feeling so inconvenienced by that she'll just straight up attack and try to kill Weiss. Or
I feel like she'd just let her go. Like, you've been a colossal waste of my time. Like, just get out, find your own way home. You're nothing to me. Like, she'd just be.
I could see that, or her being angry enough to kill Weiss because, like, they could have been potentially in danger of, like, people trying to save Weiss, or trying to recruit Weiss, even being like, hey, you're a very well-trained huntsman. We could use more of that because now we're about to have Salem and, like, Ozpin's people coming against us.
Your father abandoned you. You should just come with us.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, like, we don't really know that much about Raven yet for me to tell, but I kind of see her as, like, this, like, like, you're wasting my time, like, get out sort of thing, more than, like, an angry, murderous person. But at the same time, like, I kind of think that the bandits have to be a bit culty, and so I kind of see them being like, you know, like, your father abandoned you, like, using sort of that as a way
to persuade.
Like, your father abandoned you, like, your brother is, like, an asshole, like, just using, like, all of kind of her emotion to kind of persuade her to be like, hey,
like, we could be your family now.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but Weiss would be like, but I have another family already. And they're just like, well, they're not coming to get you, so that's too bad. Or something like that, like, kind of to make her think that, like, Yang didn't care about her anymore. And so if somebody, like, earlier was right in saying that Weiss is gonna kind of be trapped somewhere while Yang comes to visit Raven or something, she could try to kind of use whatever Yang says very much out of context to convince her that Yang doesn't even give a shit anymore, and that would be like, oh man.
Oh man. Yeah, and then okay, so Bags said something funny. They said Weiss can never be hot, and I just thought that was hilarious. And then James Plays Games had another question for us. He said, who is your favorite character that is not a main one?
Oh man, but who counts as, like, now it, like, I think about this a lot, but I'm like, who counts as a main character exactly?
I would say Team Ruby plus Crow and Oscar would be main characters.
Everyone considers, like, Jean is the main character of the show, and I'm just like,
Sean.
okay,
Jean, yeah, I would throw him in the main character mix as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the rest of Team Juniper.
Even if he shouldn't, he is still in there.
I wouldn't necessarily say he shouldn't, but I do say he shouldn't be getting as much screen time as he had. But
yeah, that's
Volume
just kind
5
of what
seems
I
to be
mean.
fixing
I'm a little
that.
salty. Yeah, I like what they've done with John and with Sun so far, which is like we've only seen them like once or twice, but I'm still like, you know,
had like one line each.
Yeah. And I feel like they've kind of been learning. I suppose, like, because even like Miles said that the Jean arc, like at the Jean arc, the beginning of Volume 1 was a mistake, and so I think they've kind of been listening to fan reception, like as far as that goes, and so they're kind of like, yeah, maybe that wasn't.
Yeah, Volume 2 and 3, I didn't mind it as much because his arc in Volume 2 is more of an Arcos arc.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, my favorite ship. Oh, they're having screen time together and stuff. But then, like, Volume 3 was like, Arcos is going to be canon. It's going to be canon. Pain. So...
It was canon.
Yeah, it was canon.
A
for
good,
like
good 3 minutes.
Seconds. Yeah, it was like, oh, man, that kiss, I swear, that's what got me famous in the reaction crowd. Like, so my favorite character is Pura Nikos out of the, like, all of the characters. Yeah, I don't know if she's a main character or not in people's eyes. So, what about you?
I'm just like, it's so hard.
It is. It's
just
hard.
like, I really like, it depends on the day too. Like, I really like Neo, but I don't have a reason to. Like, I don't have a good, like, solid reason. Like, I just think that she's cute
like,
and,
like
mysterious and, like, you know, stuff like that. And, like, I think it's more like, do I want to be Neo or do I want to bone Neo? Like, we don't know. But I guess as far as that goes, like, there's characters that I have, like, a good solid reason for, and I'm just like, well, they're hot, and I feel like that's mostly, like, everybody's reasoning for Neo is, like, people don't understand why people like her, and then the people that like her don't even get it. But as for, like, a character that's actually kind of been developed, I guess, I really like the villain team right now, like Watts and Hazel.
Watts and Hazel are
especially
awesome.
Hazel right now. It's like, I want to know all about you. Like, you are the honorable, like, you know, D&D lawful evil type.
Yeah.
So I need to know.
Did you see Brian Arndt's cosplay of Hazel?
Yes, I did. He
was
posted
so
it
amazing.
in Arnold's server, and I was just like, oh man.
Yeah, he posted on Twitter.
And he's like, I grew my hair out for that, and I was just like, that's dedication, man.
Dude,
like, I don't know.
It's like tops to that. But I also gave him the suggestion of dressing his baby up as Adam sometime, because something tells me Hazel's going to be babysitting Adam a bit. Like, oh great.
I feel like Hazel's gonna get sick of his shit eventually.
Yeah, that's what I mean by babysitting. Like,
I kind of talked about this with Hunter, like, in our analysis, but I kind of have this, like, theory going around that maybe Hazel is gonna get so sick of Adam that he purposely helps Blake become leader of the White Fang and then just doesn't tell Blake that he's connected to Salem and tries to, like, if she ever gets to be in charge, like, eases her in, sort of, and is like, hey, maybe we should do this. This would benefit Salem, but you don't need to know that because you also agree, or something like that, because he's just like, Hazel's a maniac, but Blake is actually negotiable. But yeah, since, like, I don't even know what
think you meant
Salem
Adam
wants
is
at
a
this
maniac.
point.
You said Hazel's a maniac? I'm like, I have yet to see anything.
No, Adam. But even with that, I feel like Salem didn't, not that she didn't want Mistral to go down, but I feel like she could live without it, because she keeps saying the White Fang wanted Mistral, wanted the school to go down, and it doesn't sound like I am the White Fang. It sounds like, well, we promised the White Fang. Like, it sounds like she only wanted Vale to go down because Ozpin was there, and now everything else can stay up as long as they get the relic. And so, like, if they switch to Blake, they wouldn't have to take down Mistral anymore, and they could just get the relic, and it would be, like, 100% less work.
Yeah, so, like,
I have no idea.
I totally relate with, like, the favorites switching. Because, like, for me, my top 3 favorites are Pura, Ruby, Blake. And at least with Ruby and Blake, it rotates quite a bit. And Weiss has even been, like, jumping up there a lot, too. Just because, like, I started to realize throughout Volume 4 how much I could relate to Weiss. And Yang's awesome, too. I just don't know where she places or anywhere, like...
You should take the beacon ship test or
I
whatever
did.
it's called.
That beacon ship. It
And
goes
just,
Pura
like,
Ruby.
you should do it
Blake.
every day and then kind of like see like where the
See
consistency
see where it goes. I'm thinking of like after every volume, I do a beacon ship video
and see where, yeah.
See where it goes. But something
like,
tells me
you've seen like how many categories I have on my Discord server, and so that's kind of how I sort characters.
Gosh.
Like I have a main character favorite and a villain main character,
Yeah.
and then a villain side character, and then a hero side character.
Yeah,
and
you like
then,
categorize
a
your
third,
faves.
like exactly, and so
Yeah.
I can't be like there's no one favorite. Like they're all split up, guys.
Yeah,
like, I am organized.
villain for me is like I do not know who's going to be my favorite villain right now because Watson and Hazel have my curiosity so much. But then also I just really love Torchwick and Cinder as villains. But then also like Mercury is just a trash can of a guy, but it's like, okay, I might put him in a category of like villain
Or Mercury.
Yeah. Like villain minions or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even like Mercury that much, but this week he's been getting like I don't know why. He hasn't even appeared.
Yeah.
He's been getting like a lot of weird like hate, I guess. And I did because I have like 45 like shipping videos, and so I did one on Yang and Mercury, and everybody was just like, "Hal, what are you doing?"
Dude, what was the ship name for that?
Disabler.
Oh my gosh. I thought it
There's
was some
also
other ship that was
Gutless and
called
Greaves, I think. That's also a popular name.
I thought it
for
would have been
but
something about shotguns, because like Yang has shotgun arms and he has like shotgun legs. But yeah, that makes sense because she did break his legs, so to say. Break loosely being used there. So people are saying their favorite characters are like Penny. They like 5-ish villains. Yeah, Ruby is really hard to just pick one fave. It's one of those shows where
like you all have
categorize.
faves for different reasons.
Yeah, like I've been missing Torchwick a bit lately. Like
yeah,
I feel like I didn't appreciate him as much as I should have when he was still
when he
around.
was here.
but now that he's gone, it's like I miss Torchwick. Where is
why does
Torchwick?
that ship even exist? Well, there's a shipping chart, and I think that's why.
Yeah,
like,
like
I'm
Lady
sure some
Stardust
people
did
realistically ship it, but yeah.
Yeah, like Lady Stardust. I don't know if you remember her or knew her.
Yeah, I remember.
She had like a huge list. Like she basically found all the ships, and then kind of like ranked them as ship or don't ship. And
now there's like a spreadsheet, and so like
yeah,
and some of the ships I feel only exist
for
for like cool names.
yeah,
and that's it. But then
Like-
some things like people actually ship, and I like exploring that with Hunter. That's why we have 50 different videos.
Yeah, but there's like so many different ship names. Like I swear there's ships just for the sake of the name.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's just because like this name is funny, so we will put it on the like Ruby and like Shopkeep or something. Like it just they all have funny names. Nobody
Yeah.
like legit wants that to happen. I don't think.
I
No
hope
one's
not.
writing fan fiction about that. I don't think.
I hope not. Like, oh man, like Ruby is probably the best fandom when it comes to ship names.
I
Like,
know.
Out of every
And like I wouldn't
fandom
say
I've been
necessarily the best for shipping, but definitely the best like for
naming.
Ruby is a good ship for or a good series just to ship people.
Yeah, that I would say, because when it comes to shipping, I think people are too elitist in this fandom. Because
Like, and that's why like when I started the series, I was just like, we're just gonna do all of them, like, cause we
yeah,
like not that Hunter like obviously has some favorites, but I'm like, no, I ship everything. Like everything looks so good.
grit your teeth. I usually say that. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna do ship videos, you kind of have to do all of them or
Yeah.
none of them. Because if you only do like the few main ones, then someone's gonna be like, I don't know about
Salty about it.
salty. They're like, yeah, but what about Adam and Blake? And I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, because we look at stuff in the show, obviously, but eventually, like, we just kind of like, how could the show be rewritten so they could get together, like, without taking away, like, certain plot points? And that's just fun because I like to rate things.
Yeah, and
And
honestly,
so, like, I feel like people get, like, too excited sometimes.
we're too
but, like,
serious.
yeah. But, like, the point of, like, what me and Hunter do is just, like, hey, if this was written a different way, it could work. That doesn't mean it's gonna be there now,
In this
but
AU,
it could.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I feel like people need to focus more on like shipping as like a fun side thing, and
Yeah.
rather than having it canon type thing. Like having a ship become canon should always just be a bonus to the ship, not a requirement. And sometimes I would ship something just because it's canon, but I do not like ship something and demand it be canon. And which I've been accused of that a few times. Some people say, I bet you're one of those shippers that like harass Miles and Carrie for something to be canon.
Oh boy.
And it was like, no, they should never be harassed to do that. So
like, I just want them to write whatever they want. Like, even if it's trash, I just want them to have like the willingness to do that. Like, I just don't want them to feel pressured, and I feel like at the end of the day, like, they're artists, and they, even if what they write isn't the best sometimes, like, I feel like they should be able to write whatever they want, and nobody should be able to tell them off.
Yeah,
because I've been seeing that lately, like, Miles and Carrie shouldn't have done this because, like, it offends me, and I'm just like, well, what about the other people it doesn't?
It's like, guys, don't get too offended too quickly, please. You put like the serious things to be offended at, like,
I think you saw this on Twitter, but like the guy that was like, I hope Miles and Carrie don't put any more LGBT characters.
Was that
because,
about
like,
the
being gay is
side
a sin.
characters with the plant?
Yeah!
What the heck?
Oh,
they don't even have names. They don't even have names.
And it was this giant debate, and I'm like, okay, but you're saying they should write for the audience and not for themselves, because this developed into like, oh, but why should you make art if you don't give it to anybody? And I'm like, okay, well, none of my writing has seen the light of day, but okay. And I'm like, but what if the audience like is like 70% or 80%, and they want that to happen, and they're like, well, like, they shouldn't cater to sinners. And I was just like, whoa, okay, like, you're getting blocked, like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
It's like, hey, like, man, that's not cool. Like,
it was just, it was nuts, and I'm like a little traumatized.
And like, I like, they should never cater to like what fans say when it comes to like what ships become canon and whatnot. Like, things shouldn't be forced. Again, something Inspector Who said that I thought of as well, but gosh dang it, stop typing what I'm thinking, Inspector Who. And then Hunts SD also said like Black Sun and Bumblebee fans he stays away from, which that's where like a lot of it has been lately, because Volume 4 soundtrack, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. And I feel like the other thing that we all have to remember is that I'm gonna say like most of the people that are crazy are children. Like, that are like very young teenagers that get really invested and attack people. I don't think most of the time they're grown adults, and just like personally in my Discord server, the people that have been super immature about it and have been causing fights are like under 13. Like, they probably shouldn't have a Discord account.
Totally.
And so it's less of like the Bumblebee and Black Sun shippers, and it's just like kids being like stupid.
And the same with like Tumblr even.
Yeah, because like, Tumblr is mostly people under 18, I would say.
And like teen angst. Which is like, guys, I agree with some of your angst, but some of you guys are taking it way too far, and like, I think that's what I feel like it's a symptom of like, it's a child problem. It's less of like, like everybody that ships this is like bad. It's more like, no, everybody that is shipping on Tumblr are children. And like similar thing happened to like Super Hulock. Like, were you on Tumblr when all that went down?
I've seen everything.
Like, I think a lot of that was like from the younger fans, but then everyone got crap for it. And it was like, I just felt bad for like the people who were in the Super Hulock fandom and created Super Hulock content that were actually nice and good people and didn't harass people. And then they got like death threats because of like some 13-year-old couldn't stop role playing at every post they reblogged. So
because I feel like at the end of the day, they're probably gonna look back on that and see that it's cringy.
Oh my gosh.
And so we can't really do anything about them until then. Like, if they, like, you know, in our Discord server, like, I will try to guide them in the right direction and be like, hey, like, you can't talk to people like that. But then sometimes, like, there's nothing you can do. They're going through their cringe phase, and even though none of the people that work on the show deserve it, I feel like they also need to keep in mind it is, like, 13-year-olds that are yelling at them.
Yeah, and like Grim Eclipse, I think, is also a good example of like people were demanding it to come out sooner, than it should have. And like then they rushed the game and it came out with features that were missing until later. And
it's kind of trash, like, not gonna lie. Like, I have like 50 hours in the game because we use it to collect footage, but like they totally kind of rushed it for that group of people, and now it's people like the actual genuine fans are kind of just like, well, now we got left with like a pile of crap. Like,
it was like this is fun, but like there's a lot more you could do from it. And, so like I hope they're learning. Sad. And then there's like speaking of Ruby and games, the Combat Ready board game.
The board game, yeah.
Did you hear that they hit the mark for like backers for the new character to be revealed before they're in the show?
And I was just like, I don't know about that. Especially because they're a villain. Like, I feel like...
Wait, is a villain?
Yeah, it's a villain
now I'm
character.
Totally against that.
Because I'm like, if they haven't been shown right now, I'm guessing they're a secret.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be somebody else at, like, Salem's Round Table, and that's kind of
like
why
the
there's
chair
extra
that's
spots.
not filled out yet.
Yeah, and so I'm like, there has to be a reason why they haven't shown up yet, and they're not going to show up until, like, Volume 6. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as Verif is like, I'm sure they know what they're doing, but I'm like, do they, though?
Dude,
like,
no,
especially because with Grim Eclipse, like, it has a character and a story that is canon, but nobody knows about it. And apparently it is going to be referenced in the show at some point, but then, like, if no one, like, people barely know about the World of Remnants, they're not going to know about, like, Merlot and all of that, and that concerns me a lot and freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I would personally never want to reveal a character through, like, a board game or something. I would rather reveal them in show and then in the like manga or board game or video game.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no.
It's a total money grab though. Like, that's why they did it.
Yeah, that's right.
They knew that people would be like, "Ooh, I want to see the villain." You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest.
I need to back up the board game, but like money is being like sort of tight right now. Like, I'm just trying to figure out like how much I can
just get your credit card back.
I got it back. It's just like, even then I have to like, okay, can I spend money or not? Like, today an album came out and it's only like $8, and I'm like, I don't know if I should like spend that $8. Yeah. So all right, James, play games, have a nice night. Thank you for your questions and being involved with the chat.
I'm kind of in the same boat where I get money to, like, have lunch, like, at school because I'm, like, super far from home for university, and then I just don't eat, and I take the money, and I, like, hoard it for other stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, nobody needs it.
Yeah, no, seriously, like, the struggle of life. I'm like, today, I just got a car, like, a month or two ago, and this month is, like, the first month of car payments, and this is a car that, like, I could barely afford, but it's totally worth paying for because it's a fairly new car, and it's a car that would have been like otherwise twice as much to get. And so it's like, okay, I'm paying out like $450 a month for the insurance and car payment, and then I have like another $100 that I use, well, roughly $100 to use for gas to drive around in said car, and it's like I only make about $650 a month, so that leaves very little spending money or money to put away into savings. So that's why, if you want to support this channel, I have Patreon.
Check out his Patreon.
Yeah, you know, for $5 you could become a sponsor of VYTALCast, and you'll get a shout out each VYTALCast. Or
I'm guessing you have to do those soon because I did not see that at the beginning.
Actually, no, I did not get any $5 Patreons yet.
Oh, well, maybe I'll have to be a $5 Patreon.
Shout out to Cal. No. Shout out to our sponsor,
I'm like,
Cal.
Oh, whoops.
No, it's all right. Like, I've just barely like rearranged my Patreon, and I actually been wanting to talk to you. Like, hey, how should I like promote this and like how should I work this out and like perks and stuff.
Oh, me, you should go talk to Semblance. Like, Semblance is at like $4,000 goals, man, and I'm just like, where are we going? What am I
Holy
doing?
smokes. Maybe we should both talk to him at the same time and take notes.
Exactly. Like, just have a meeting. Well, that's what the YouTubers, there's a YouTubers, like, channel where the YouTubers can all talk to each other in my Discord server. So that's, like, where we can set up a meeting.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, okay, so the description for this video, are you talking about the subscriber? Yeah, I've been meaning to fix that for months now. I thought you were talking about the part where I said, today we are, and then I was going to say, graced by the presence of Cal, but then I just
didn't write anything.
it just says, today we are, and then there's nothing. And I was like, I had something I was going to type, but I forgot the word graced. Until now. So yeah, Patreon, like tier 2, which is just $2. You get to people get to be in a Ruby Chibi group reaction video with me. And
that's fun.
I actually had the first video for that come out earlier this week, and I'm just now, right after I finish editing chapter 2, I'm gonna edit the next video for that, and then on Sunday we're doing the 3rd recording session for it. And after like we catch up with Ruby Chibi, I don't know if we're gonna if we should like re-watch volume 1 through 3.
Yeah, that may be fun.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I've already seen volumes 1 through 3 like a gajillion times, so adding extra voices and personalities to talk and interact with. So it'll be more like a commentary show at that point, whereas the Chibi season 2 is like reaction / commentary.
Because my Patreon's basically like we all do like a discussion, I guess, after like each episode comes out.
Yeah.
And so they've been like 3 hours long, and I'm like, oh boy. But it doesn't really matter if anybody watches them necessarily, because it's just for the patrons to have fun. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, this is a really long.
And speaking of patrons, ACGearsandArms is actually one of the 2 Patreons I actually have, and he's asking, everything will see Tai Yang again?
No, he's dead. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm like, that got dark pretty fast. He had a heart attack after like Yang left.
Exactly, like he just
can't bear being abandoned again.
Oh, now that's really sad. I was just being like, oh, Salem got him, you know.
He forgot to feed Zwei.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not this volume, but we've been seeing him a lot in Chibi, so I think that'll make up for.
I think he's doing it okay.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
I've been so tired I haven't watched any of the reactions this week at all, plus half of them were blocked. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them got blocked last week, except for mine for some reason.
Yeah, it was like yours and Arnold's, and then Arnold was like, oops, spoke too soon.
Yeah, and like, I think also Lorelai, and then Hirohai, he got his up, and then somebody else. But like everybody was attacking Arnold because they thought Rooster Teeth was giving him special treatment, and I'm like, why isn't anybody attacking me? I want to be attacked. Like, nobody's talking to me. Where's my attention?
So mine got blocked, and then it was like, oh, I'll just wait a few days, it'll be unblocked, because that's what happened with Volume 4.
Yeah.
And they even kind of said that again when they brought up reactions for Volume 5. They said, because we get so much stuff we have to review, it takes a day or two during the review. And
they're also like, they don't have anybody in on the weekend.
Yeah,
when the movie comes out.
That too. So mine didn't get unblocked until like yesterday. And so that's why the views are so low. But also because I didn't email them until it was like Tuesday, and I was like, it hasn't been unblocked yet. I'm actually a little worried. So
some people have like done it tonight and then messaged, like sent in the thing and got in theirs unblocked. I think Laurel did that.
Really? You could upload it tonight and get it unblocked?
Just like unlisted, like keep it on private or scheduled or whatever. I think people did that, but now like nobody's in the Rooster Teeth office, I'm guessing, at this time, so actually they might, because it's 9 o'clock for me, but I'm pretty sure it's like 6 for you, but I think that they did
no,
that.
It's 7:30 for me now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's weird, because I thought I saw in their post saying they do not pre-approved videos. But
I mean, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a pre-approval just because they did do it
because it was already
when it was
uploaded.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like when I started to think about it, I'm like, well, I guess it's not pre-approved because it's already up. To me, pre-approved was like before it was public. Yeah, dude. Honestly, if they actually allowed reactors licenses and like, hey, you want to react to Ruby? Pay $10 per volume or something.
Yeah, or even I would even do $10 a month, to be honest. Like, I know that may be like
a bit much for some people. Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm like, I either like do it, I don't want to say illegally, but I either have to wait or just it doesn't get uploaded at all, depending on how they kind of want to milk that system. But like, I made more money with it existing. So.
Yeah. So like, honestly, it'd be nice to see them come up with like a reactors program or a fan projects program. Although what they have now works well enough that they don't want to. But although I think they could milk us just a little bit and be like,
a little more,
pay $10 license fee. Because for some people, I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but like Arnold's videos where you're getting that many views, it's kind of like, okay, at what point do you think Rooster Teeth deserves a little bit? But although I guess they monetize their videos, so I think
they didn't monetize mine, but I think it depends on how, like, they have a set of guidelines, and so they're like, we won't monetize your reaction if like your face is taking, or the video was taking up less than your face. Like, there's all of these different, like, if you're talking, or
I thought that was like for stuff to be unblocked or like not blocked.
No, that's just like in general, like I don't think they usually monetize reaction videos. I think it's only if they're like, yeah, you're just kind of sitting there. But I think for like, I don't know, like me and Hunter talk a lot. So.
Yeah, no, chapter 1, I like forgot to talk a lot. Like, there was just so much plot stuff being unveiled by Lionheart that I was like, okay, I really have to shut up or else I'm gonna be missing this, and then the comments are gonna be mad. But now, well, I don't have comments on it, so I can't say the comments are mad I didn't talk. So, but this next episode,
I'm like, I wonder if the reason why mine didn't get blocked was because me and Hunter were talking so much it couldn't recognize the audio. Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Gosh, that'd be awesome. By the way, I know we're kind of collabing right now. But we should totally do like a Ruby collab video. That's non-reaction. I don't want to collab react. That'll be... I tried that with Aaron once, and that was like a mess setup-wise.
I know.
But I was traveling. Wait, Did you see it?
I mean, I didn't... I just, like, I know, like, in general, just because I tried to do the same thing with Tally, and it was not working.
Yeah.
But now, like, now that Discord has video, though, I think that it would be easier, but at the same time, I'm like... Yeah. I don't mean that I knew that you were doing it with Aaron. I just mean, like, in general, like, I'm
Aaron
highly
and I did
aware.
it, like, once a year ago. It was, like, when she and I first were getting to know each other, and, like, long before VYTALCast was even a thing. So...
And then, like, Dan did, like, this reaction where I guess he was filming on his phone, and then he synced up what he was seeing, like, in the theater, and I was like, Dan, I love you, but you didn't have to do it. It was so weird because it was like when he was at RTX, and so he was just looking up at the screen, and you couldn't like, you could see like the expressions on his face, but obviously he wasn't talking because you're not gonna talk while everybody's watching it, and it was just like, it was nuts, and I was just like, y'all are getting creative.
No, like that was the whole reason why I didn't go to see the Fathom events for chapter 1. I was like,
I was just like, I need to do my reaction, but like Dan found a way, and
like,
I was like, okay,
I'm like, Dan. 1, I'm gonna be too embarrassed to record myself in public. 2, if I was ever so brave, I didn't want to like disturb everyone else in the theater. And also, I didn't want the theater to kick me out thinking I was filming the episode.
And it would just be like hell to edit.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. AC Gears and Arms is asking, do you guys want to find out who trained the Bronwyn twins to use their weapons?
To be honest, I'm guessing it was their parents, just because, like, now we've established that it's, like, the Branwyn tribe, and they're like, oh, like, this is a dynasty, obviously, like, this is a family-inherited tribe, it's not just... Because a lot of people thought that maybe the tribe was, like, something else, and then the leader, got killed by Raven, and then like life happened, and that was
Yeah.
just kind of it.
You know,
But now we
I
know
don't
like
think
this is
Raven
inherited.
killed the leader. I think if anything, the leader died, and then
Yeah.
Raven was called to be the heir, and that's why she ditched Stark and Tai Yang and became the new leader of the tribe. And she
Because
probably
I feel like if it's explicitly like the Branwen tribe, like that's, I feel like that's not so much of a recent development. I feel like it's always kind of been the Branwen tribe, and just now Raven's running it.
Yeah, I mean she's a Bronwyn, so
yeah. And it would make sense, because, like, I don't know, like, I would also lead a tribe if I had magical bird powers, you know what I mean?
Seriously.
Like, it makes sense for her to be the leader, and then her parents, and then the people before her parents, like, just because they all have this insane power, and people would appreciate that in someone that's leading all of their stuff.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay, so I don't want to, like, abruptly end this, but it is getting late, and I have editing to do. I don't know how late you are on your editing.
Oh, it's edited. Oh, well, I forgot, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
I don't edit my reactions that much, though. I just kind of slap like the Patreon names like on it at the front, and then do it again at the back, and I'm like, okay, this is done. But I did that like right away. Like, I always edit things as soon as I record them, because I know that I will forget.
Yeah, no, I forgot. I meant to yesterday, and then like something messed up with the imports.
What I was late on was like a different reaction, because me and Hunter are doing Neo Yokio, which is like maybe also a mistake.
I heard that is
just also really love it for some reason. Like it just.
I'm guessing it's gonna be like the Room of like animation. You know
it's
the
like
movie The Room, so terrible, became infamous. Yeah.
It's so bad that there's something about it that like takes you in and does not let you go. Like, you'll just have to watch it, and I feel like we can talk about it another time.
Yeah.
But like, it's horrible.
Yeah, I have to edit. And then there's like two things I want to say. Like, Hunt SD said he forgot because of Stranger Things, and Stranger Things I am putting off till tomorrow to watch, just because I need to edit. And then Raven and Crow were adopted, but they could have been adopted by the leader of the tribe then that had no children.
Yeah, and then they were just given the name Branwen, because I feel like that's still a dynasty thing. Like, oh, hey, you are my kids now, you take the tribe.
Yeah,
so.
and also, like, the tribe isn't necessarily all family.
Yeah.
But, like, Raven is like, yeah, we're family through bond. So it could very well be that the tribe doesn't care so much about blood as they care about, like, bond. So, anyway, sorry, Raul, but we're just like literally
I feel so
ending
bad.
this.
Raul is just like, hey, what did I miss? And I'm just like,
we went longer than we usually do, and it's like,
really?
Oops.
Oh, well, I just talk a lot, I think.
Oh no, like it's good when we go over. Although I think I did make promises to go to something that would have started right at 7, so oops. But in the long run, I still have editing to do. I've edited like the first 5 minutes of my video. So I like to be sarcastic and snarky towards myself sometimes through editing.
I'm like, editing? What's that?
Yeah, like, no, like sometimes I'll say something stupid, and then I'll just like
and you'll just cut it out.
I'll just add in like a text, like being rude to myself, like.
Oh, I see now.
So it's kind of like I'm trying to beat the commenters to being rude to me. It's
like being like, man, why did I say?
It's like, don't worry, commenters. I have the same thoughts you did, just only when I'm editing and watching this myself. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch it next week. And Cal, I'll invite you on again. And we could do other streams and other
Hopefully Hunter will be there next time, but he was like 9 o'clock for some rando I don't know, like, bye Cal, and he was just
Yeah, I forgot, like it was only you and I that have really communicated together. So when you asked if he could be on, I was like, I guess. I don't really know him, but yeah, go ahead.
We usually do these things together, but today he was just like, nah, Cal, like, it's okay. And I was just like, all right, see you later.
Also,
like, it was nothing against you whatsoever. It was just like, he was just like, I don't care.
I just assumed he had to be up early tomorrow morning or something, so.
Well, yeah, he also has to, he gets up for work at 6, and then he has to come and record my reaction.
Yeah, no, totally. So okay, for that reason alone, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But then also,
that's why it was so salty. He was just like, Cal, don't ask me to do this. We can do it, like.
Yeah, we could do something that's better timed.
Yeah.
Speaking of better time stuff, I'm sorry about earlier this year where I like committed to being part of your like fundraising.
Oh, it's okay.
Streams.
Don't worry about it.
Because I was traveling, and then like they literally lost their internet right when I got there, and it was like,
oh my god,
it was like I have no way.
That itself would torture me. Like alone is that the internet would be gone.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was like this is torture. But hey, at least I got a Nintendo Switch, so.
We got to our goal anyway, and so I wasn't like peeved. I was just like, oh yay, we did it! Like it didn't matter.
I had a bunch of my subscribers go like, I heard you're helping Cal with like this fundraising thing, and I'm like, yeah. They're like, I'm so looking forward to you and her being in the same video, and then it just never happened. I'm like,
well, now they can rest easy.
Yeah, they can rest easy now. The next time you do fundraising,
like 6 months later, they're gonna be like, finally, it was time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Gal, thank you for joining.
No problem.
Go subscribe to her channel if you want. Follow her on the Twitter. Follow me on the Twitter, Discords, all that stuff. So, bye.
Bye, guys.